Good morning, boys and girls. Today we are going to be looking at fractions. Unfortunately, for some reason, Mr. Johnston wrote the wrong idea. Anyways, so we're just going to cross this out, and we're going to write down fractions on a number line. And next time, Mr. Johnston will be more careful with you guys. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, today you're going to need a couple basic things. You're going to need your your paper or notebook and a pencil, because I want you to be building your number lines. Okay. All right. So here we go. First thing though, before we get into number lines, I want us to do a quick little fast fact practice. That means I want you to count by sevens. Okay. So ready? I'm going to wait for you. And first one. Good. Second one. Good. Next. Good. Next. Good. Next. Good job. Next one. Good. Next one. Next one. Good. Next one. Good. And the last one of the 10 is, there we go. So we had 7 times 1, 7 times 2, 7 times 3, 7 times 4, 7 times 5, 7 times 6, 7 times 7, 7 times 8, and 7 times 9, and finally 7 times 10. Of course, you would know that it continues with 77 and 84. And let me see, is it? Yes, it would be 91. And then, of course, if you look up there, 98. And then the pattern continues, and we get all the way up into 105. Okay, I hope you're noticing there's a pattern there. Okay, let's move on. Now, we're looking at our fast fact practice in 1 minute. So, I'm going to make you work for 1 minute. Ready? Here we go. Get ready. Excuse me a second, guys. And go. Okay, and I'm looking at our time. 30 seconds. How far did you get? And 15 seconds. 10. And we are done. Okay. So, how'd you do? Hopefully you got pretty far in there. So, 4 times 5. What'd you get? Did you get 20? 8 times 8, 64. 2 times 8, 16. 8 times 7 is 56. 4 times 7, 28. 9 times 3, 27. 5 times 9, 45. 4 times 6, 24. 2 times 2 is 4. 7 times 7 is 49. 3 times 4 is 12. 8 times 9 is 72. 4 times 2 is 8. 9 times 3 is 27. 6 times 9, ooh, that's 54. 8 times 5 is 40. 3 times 8 again is 24 again. 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 9, we saw that one right above it, 27. 2 times 8 is 16. Then we're down over here. 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 6, we've seen that one, 42. And then we're at 8 times 2, again, 16. 3 times 9, again, 27. 3 times 4, 12. Okay, so there they are. Let's move on. Now, we're going to start by doing a little bit of review work of how to make a number line. So we start with our number line. Now, do you remember? you need to make pretty much just a line. Okay? And you have tick marks. Now the biggest thing to remember is the tick marks have to be evenly spaced out. If they're not spaced out evenly, well, they're not going to be correct. Now let's go through a couple ideas here. If I put a 0 here and a 4 right there, each tick mark is talking about by counting by ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's fix it a little bit here. We'll keep that 0 in place. We're going to change those tick marks. The number here, we're going to go with 8. Now, how are we doing our tick marks? Are we still counting by ones? No. Now we're going bigger. 2, 4, 6, 8. So this time it's much bigger. But let's change it even more. This time we're going to count this way. This is 20. Still counting by ones? You better say no. Are we counting by twos? You better say no again. I'll give you one more clue. So there's a number here, there's something here, and there's something here missing. Well, it helps you out if you know. And we're counting by fives. 5, 10, 15. Okay, let's do one more reminder of how this works. This one here now is 40. And if that's 40, well, you know, of course, we're counting by tens. See? Pretty easy. Okay, so that's a number line. It basically means that the number line, the tick marks have to be evenly spaced. Very important. Each tick mark is evenly spaced, showing that's the same amount between each tick mark. Same amount, or at least as best as you can, that's what you're trying to say. The tick marks are evenly spaced so that there's the same number for each. Okay? In this case, it's in between is 10. Right there, 10 more, and 10 more. Earlier, we were counting by fives or twos. Okay. Let's look at the next one. Here we have number lines again. This time we have our number line on there, and now we need to think about fractions. Some words to remember, of course. We've seen denominator, and we've seen numerator. Pretty easy. The one to remember today is whole number. If you remember, whole simply means if I have a circle, all is filled in. Okay? Let's go with actually a square, because for some reason I am not drawing very well. So, here's my bar. Now, I'm going to fill it in, and that's all. That's one whole bar. If I wanted to show it as a fraction, I'd write 1 over 1, and that would be right there. See? But that's not what we're doing today, so I'm going to change it again. And I'm going to go like this. Now I have 2 over 2. It's still 1, and it's right there. I'm going to change it again. I'm going to go cut it in here. Now, what's my denominator going to be? 4. And my numerator? Yep, still 4. And in this case, I'm going to put my whole number here. Meaning, in other words, actually, I'm going to make it a little bit cleaner. I'm going to say that this is 0 from now on, okay? But here's the thing. Here's 1. And what I'm showing right now is that this piece here, each fraction tick mark is 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. See how that looks? And that's what we're saying, is that each tick mark is a piece of the whole. The whole is right down here, is showing the whole, all of it colored in. Okay? And there's that 1. Alright, so pretty basic idea. This time I'm going to do a little cleaning up. And a little bit moving around. Yes, I'm still keeping it 0 where it should be. 6. Whoop, I just gave the clue away to you. Now, there's 8 pieces. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to change it and go with the color. I like color better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is 8 over 8. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, right there. 4, counting 4, 8 of them. Or in other words, if I change my over here, this is what I have. See how I'm coloring blue? Half of the whole thing, 4 out of 8. 4 eighths. Okay? So that's what a number line looks like with fractions on it. In other words, I like to think of it as we take our number line and we're zooming in closer and closer and closer. Okay? Tick marks are still in the same spacing. That's very important. They're still equal. Okay? Now let's move over here. So this time, I'm going to put some marks on the board, and I want you to think where they are. So first I'm going to number my tick mark to show you where the 0 is, and then where the 1 is, the hole. I'm going to just put my 1 right there. Now, here's my dot. What is that fraction? Well, if I think about it for a little bit, I can see that, well, I'm going to count and find out my denominator. Bottom number, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of them make the whole, so the bottom number oops, wrong color. The bottom number has to be a 4. That's my denominator. Now, since the tick mark's right there, I count how many? 1, 2, 3. 3/4. Okay, there's 3. There's 1, 1, 2, 3 pieces. That's 3/4. Not too hard. I'm going to clean this up. I want you guys to try it again. Let's try it one more time. The idea of identifying the fraction, finding the fraction. Okay, we're finding the fraction. There's my 1. This time I'm going to put my tick mark right there. Take a look at it for a little bit. What do you think is? We found the whole. We know where the whole number is. We need to know what's the denominator first. What is that denominator? And what's that numerator? Those are what we're needing to find out. I always start with my denominator first. Well, in this case, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is my denominator? Did you say 6? I hope so, because I did not count all the way through. So this is a question of, were you paying attention? Now I'm going to look for my numerator. I'm just counting pieces up to the point. There's 1 right there. There's 2 right there. There's my numerator. So how many did you get? You should have said 2. 2/6. Very good. Okay. Let's move on. Now we're looking at identifying the length of the part. So, similar idea, but basically it's like, a little bit, very similar, but a little bit different. Not too hard though. Here's my 0. Here's my 1. So in this case, oops, wrong marker. What's that? It's the same idea. You're still going to look for your denominator. You're still going to look for your numerator. Well, I know my denominator. There is, how many pieces I need to get whole? Well, 2 of them. So this is still going to be denominator of 2. And since there's only 1 piece, well, it's 1/2. Each piece of this board, these tick marks are all 1/2. So in other words, here's 2, here's 3, here's 4. Okay? I'm going to clean my board, and we'll talk again. Now, this time, I want to know one more time how big this section is. This time, Here's a number. Ooh, that's quite a bit more, isn't it? Well, again, find your denominator. Did you count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So again, same thing. My denominator is the bottom number. It's how many pieces make a whole. 8. I'm only counting one piece, so obviously enough. What's my numerator? 1. So the length of one piece is simply 1/8 of the whole. If I wanted to stretch it out a little bit, meaning color more, now I have another 1/8. Well, that's simply saying it's 2/8. Okay? And if I want to go further, just for sheer funsies, well, now I have 3 of them. 3/8. Okay, hopefully you have a good, strong feeling of this one. So let's look over here at our fractions. Now, these are some practice test ones. I want you guys to take a look at this one for a moment. Okay? I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to give you a little bit of time, and I want you to practice working them by yourself. Okay, I'm going to give you a bit longer. Just a little bit more. Okay, that's a good amount of time there to do those. So let's check your answers. Hopefully for the first one, you simply need to find out how much each piece is. Well, I'm going to start by just counting how many pieces. The fraction amount below has been divided into equal parts. What is the length of each part? So I'm not looking for anything bigger than a 1. My top number has to be 1. Now if I count it, I got 1, 2, 3, 4 in the denominator. So that's the answer. Okay, next one. Let's use color to show which one's correct. What number is located at the end of the shaded piece of the number line? Same thing. I still need to know what is the number line. What is the denominator? Well, I'm going to count how much pieces. 1, 2, 2 make a whole. So if you remember, that means that's my denominator. 2 make the whole. Now I need to count how many pieces are there that we're counting. We're counting 1, 2, 3 pieces. So my numerator, which is what I'm counting, is 3. Remember, numerator, what you count. Denominator, how many make a whole. Okay, answer, of course, should have been, well, you should have picked B. Okay, same thing up here. We know right off the bat, I can tell you right now, I can see that my denumerator, how many I'm counting, is 2, because that's how many pieces I see. So the numerator is easy. Now I want to go, how much makes my denominator? So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, what's my denominator? 6. Ooh, that was interesting. Wrong number. Wrong color. Right number, though. And so the answer, of course, was D. All right, last one. And this one's also easy. Already, they're telling us that the denominator is 8. See? Denominator is 8. So that means, in other words, each one of these pieces is 8. There's 8 pieces, I should say. Sorry. I don't even write that down because of how much I should have been more clear. 8 pieces make a whole. And all I'm looking for is one of them. Well, 1. Boom. What's the answer? A, S. Okay? So your job right now is to, after watching this video, is to go through that Google form and do your best to make sure you check your answers and do a good job. Good luck.